Trust the data, trust the science, trust the doctors, right? Isn't that what I keep hearing from all you eggheads? Let me give you a brief history of the novel coronavirus that you're so scared of that you'll pump a non-FDA approved chemical into your body and then parade your beta ass through public like you did something good for humanity, patting yourself on the back. Also, here's a lesson in how to go to Facebook jail. First, they said it came from eating bats. Didn't. Then they said it doesn't spread from person to person. Does. Then they said you don't have to wear a mask. Then they said 14 days to slow the spread and flatten the curve. Then they said you do need to wear a mask. Then they said it's only carried in droplets. Then they said it's airborne. Then they said Walmart and Home Depot are okay, but church is not. Then they said it won't spread during protests, but it will spread during rallies. Then they said don't trust Trump's vaccine. Then they said that natural immunity doesn't last. Then they said you got to trust Biden's vaccine. Then they said if you're vaccinated, you don't have to wear a mask. They said if you're vaccinated, you won't spread COVID. Then they said vaccinated people can catch COVID, but we're not counting those. Then they said you have to wear a mask again because you can spread it. What are they going to say tomorrow, and why should I believe them? Getting vaccinated is not a duty, folks. It's not your duty. You don't owe it to anybody, especially when the vaccine isn't FDA approved and reports of vaccine injuries are being dismissed without investigation and being shut down by the so-called fact checkers. It will never be a duty because we already have the right to our freedom. I don't owe you anything. The whole get vaccinated shtick is based on bad data, and if you'll remember, stats change. 90% protection against catching the COVID virus with no side effects. That's the first claim. But if that was true, that'd be a good idea, but it doesn't add up, does it? Because the claim is false. It doesn't prevent you from catching the virus. It doesn't prevent you from spreading the virus. The only claim left is that it helps you keep from dying from the virus, and they aren't even keeping track of that statistic. So what are they going to say tomorrow? The experts are striking out with so much regularity, you'll forgive me if I skip this next inning's worth of vaccine strikeouts and go have myself a beer. Let me tell you who the real victims of COVID are. Truth, freedom, business owners, employees, school children, the rule of law. I could go on. Let me give you some bullet points, folks. Let me just tell you the terms they're using. Quarantine. Quarantines are for the sick, not the healthy. Lockdowns. Lockdowns are what penitentiaries do to prisoners. Social distancing. It's antisocial and it's about control. To say safer at home, that's isolation and it fosters depression, anxiety, and Howard Hughes syndrome. Essential business or worker, all businesses are workers are essential. And the government deciding what and who are essential is called tyranny. New normal. There's nothing freaking normal about any of this. Walmart and Home Depot are safe, but small businesses and dentist offices and churches are not. Come on. Takeout, delivery, and fast food are exempt from contamination. Stop acting like a fool. You're going to force a face mask on another person? That's about control. You literally have no right to do that to me.
All right, so what I'm doing today is inside these tailing sensors, they got, I don't know if they're windows or mirrors or whatever they are, but I got to replace them. They're a little scratched up and they give some false readings sometimes. So here's what the new ones look like. A little just O-ring or whatever you would call it. So, and really when you do it, you just pop this lever off and then you got to unplug them both and take them out there and put it on. So that's what the job is today. I got the corn header. Well, you can't see it. Maybe you can. Got the corn header out. I blew it off last year, but I'm getting ready to wash it. Go through her, check her over. Check her over, get her all ready. Hopefully, if everything goes right, we'll be cutting that early corn next week. So I can get these soybeans in. I've been on the phone with Tyson. They're probably going to take it. If they don't take it, I'm taking it to Purdue. They'll take it, or Mount Air, but means we couldn't work something out with our local co-op. Of course, you all know that story. So that's sad when you're a member of a co-op and you got two guys that dictate when everybody else farms. So that's life. We'll figure it out. I guarantee I'll be a lot more prepared next year for this. All right, good morning, everybody. I want you to come look at this 115-day corn. It's 15:06 a.m. is what it is. Man, it's probably the best corn I've ever seen. Now here's a 75-day ear. This is 14 by 42. And if you look, let me turn the camera around. This right here is right out my backyard. Right on the edge of the corn here. But look at the ear size difference. Here, we'll put it sideways. I'll even stick it up in the middle. Look at the difference in it. And then a lot of them got the 2. Now I know a lot of people don't like 2, but if you can get a great big huge ear like that and then a normal, look, this right here is the normal size ear. This is on a normal ear. That's what you're getting. That's what you're getting. And they're full. I mean, look, full all the way to the top. Look at that. I don't want to pull them down because they're still developing. I don't like wasting ears, but I mean, just full all the way to the top. I mean, it's just impressive, the ear size on them. I mean, it's all the way in there. I mean, it's just huge, huge. I mean, look at the 2 ears. I know a lot of people think it's not a big deal, but that's second ear. But I mean, there's a normal ear, and I mean, I'll admit we've had. Look at that. Look at the difference. So we're definitely going to be planting a ton more of this. I mean, look at this mess. Look at the difference. I mean, definitely going to be planting a ton more of this. And this right here is just on the edge of my yard. I'm sure that this edge probably didn't even get the nitrogen like the rest of it does because I don't let it hang over but so far. Because I got little trees here. And this is clay ground up front. Now, if you go in the back, if you look in the center of them chicken houses, now that corn right there, there's like a line that goes all the way across that farm and it gets real good topsoil in the back. I mean, them ears are even bigger than these ears. Now, granted, we have had the rain this year, but I mean, this variety right here is just ridiculous how good it's doing. You know, and I got a balcony up there, and we can go out on the balcony and look across the whole farm. I mean, it's just perfect, even all the way across. I mean, it's just not a bad spot, one. So, very impressed with that variety. It was a new variety. I think they planted out Westmore, and they wanted me to try it here. So I did 55 acres of it, and I put it at 32,000. I mean, that's 32,000 population, and look at the ears, and look at the double ears. I probably could have went up to 36,000 plant population, and, you know, probably did away with the double ear and just had that other ear would have been bigger. Who knows? But, you know, I'm comfortable with 34,000 now. 32 is I think the way to go. I did plant one field in 34.5, and looking at it, all the corn looks good, but I can't wait to get in it, you know, see what the difference is. But it's going to be one of them 2 populations from now on. We'll see how the 30, and I did the 34.5 actually on a worser field. I didn't want to do it on really good ground just because I didn't want it to fool it, you know, because then if you're planting on certain farms are different, you know, I can bump it down and bump it up. But if 34.5 does good on a sandier field, then you know it's going to do good on some of the good ground we got. But I mean, even on that field, it looks great. It just looks good. So it's going to be an exciting year. Let's hope that it pays off. 75-day corn is still a little wet. Don't think this corn is bad. This isn't the biggest ear that I found there. I went on the sand hill. I wanted to see what the moisture was, and it'd probably still be another week. I mean, it had pretty big ears also throughout the field, but I hate pulling them down because, you know, I know an ear or 2 here and there doesn't kill your yield, but it makes me feel like in my head that it does, because we always take these ears. Next thing you know, you leave them in pickups for a month at a time or 2 months at a time, and you don't ever throw them back in the combine. You kind of forget about them. So I try to take as little off the stalk as I can when I'm checking. In my head, it makes me feel like I'm doing something wrong, so I don't do it. But anyway, great looking corn. 15:06 a.m. Pioneer, 115 day that's the number. I got it with my sales rep because I forgot that I got the tag somewhere and wrote it down somewhere. I just can't remember where. So, but anyway, that's some good looking corn right there. Really good looking corn. Sun's just starting to break. Got some tree shade, but really good looking corn. That's an idea if anybody wants it. All right, I don't ever post much about soybeans, but here's the Enlist beans that we planted this year. Of course, they're after wheat Enlist beans, but here's all the early ones, and this shows you how tall they are. I don't know if you can see this or not. So they're up to my belly already, a little bit taller there. All the way down. They do look really good. And even this spot right here down here just dry. It always stays wet. You can see where we had some flooded out spots because we got 7 inches of rain after wheat. I think we got 4 inches one day and 3 inches a couple days later. But I mean, you get out of the wet spots, I mean, they're thick all the way across. I mean, they look damn good. This is the first year we've ever planted them, so I like them. As you can see, I mean, they were kind of perfect. So this little wet spot here where we had some manure one year, and when the loader digs, you try to get it smooth, but sometimes you dig in a little bit and you can't never get the damn thing level again. So we'll have to work on that in the off season. It's all the way down because we had a pile here and then we had a pile up there. But these Enlist beans, they are coming along pretty. I mean, really pretty. Taller than the hood of the old S10. So we can grow some good beans. Our wheat beans are coming up. Our Plenish beans on all the other farms. This is the only farm we plant Enlist on. We plant decob corn and Enlist soybeans. Everywhere else is Pioneer. But I tell you though, the way these Enlist look and how easy they are to spray to kill the weed control, I mean, this is something that we talked about switching over to. Yeah, we've definitely talked about switching over to Enlist beans because they're so easy to kill any weed. I mean, Palmer, we had some Palmer back here. That's why we actually switched over to Enlist beans, because with the Plenish beans, you can't spray really chemical to kill that Palmer. So we switched over to Enlist, and I put a pre-emerge down here, the Traverse, and it actually worked. I mean, we had very little. Now, we had a little bit of grass come up, but we had very little weeds that came up. It really helped with the weed control. So I did have some weeds come up, and I come back in with Enlist. I had Enlist and a little bit of Liberty mixed in a tank and came in here, and actually, I mean, it just smoked it. I mean, big time. And it's hard to find something that kills Palmer. But these Enlist beans are really great. So we really excited about them. I can't wait to see what they yield. They say they do good. I think they're 4.6s. Next year I would like to try some 4.8s, because we did plant 4.8 Plenish that one year, and they were actually our best bean. It just took them forever to dry down. Hell, we cut our wheat beans before we could actually get on the early beans that were 4.8s. But I'd like to try and Enlist 4.8. The way these 4.6s look, just see what the 4.8s actually do. I mean, I like that Enlist though. It smokes them weeds good. Smokes everything. Shit that Roundup won't kill. But the corn looks good. I'm riding about 115-day decob. Remember, I had the 115-day Pioneer at my place. This is a 115-day decob, and I mean, it looks good. So it don't look as good as that Pioneer, but it looks, I think that Pioneer with just the rain this year is just blowing it out of the water, you know, expectations. But this right here looks damn good. I mean, damn good. I showed y'all in the other video how good it looked. You know, it looks better than your average year, but they're just not as big. Them ears just aren't nowhere near as big as a Pioneer 115 day, but I think they'll both do good. Both of the farms are pretty consistent. You know, you got a little sand hill, but then you got good, where we're planting at, it's real good ground. So I'm excited to test the decob against the Pioneer on the same day, you know, same day corn. You know, you can never get the, normally when we plant, we're always a couple days off on the different varieties and brands. But I like having the 115 day Pioneer and the 150, and I planted them. I planted this first and then went right to my farm and planted the Pioneer. So they were all planted within, you know, a day and a half of each other. So that's what I like too, seeing it ready. It's all going to be right around the same thing, same day corn, just seeing what brand carries it the best. Now it is on two different farms, but they're pretty comparable farms. I mean, 90% of it field is good, and then you got 10% that you got a sand hill or a bottle pit. You know, 2% here, 1% there, and but I think it's going to be, either way, they're going to both be impressive because of the year we've had with the rain so far. I mean, it's going to be, if you want to tell what good ground, good corn, good fertilizer program, and good water can do on your property, this is going to be the year for us that it shows us what we can grow. That way, on the bad years when we don't get rain, that tells you if you put pivots up and keep that water steady, what the possibilities of what you can grow. Because we've had consistent rains, you know, since we planting, you know, started planting. So it's going to be impressive to see how it is, as long as everything else works out all right. So I know some people in the country got, you know, some bad weather. Some people got too much rain, some people don't have enough rain, but you know, and it seems like the years they all do really good, we do bad, and the years we do good, they do bad. So it all averages out across the board. So as long as the price stays all right, it keeps dropping. You know, corn was $7 and something in August, and now it's $5. So, you know, September's lower, but we'll see. Anyway, like, subscribe, share. Not too much going on in this video, just riding, looking at stuff. We're in that little down time where our 75-day corn is, I mean, it's getting ready. I mean, give it next week's supposed to be in the 90s the whole week. So give it that whole week drying down, and we'll be cutting the following week. And as you can see, I'll show you, I mean, it's turning. I got screwed with our co-op being kind of corrupt, and 3 people thinking it's their own little personal granary. You know, there's 50 people involved, but 3 of them think it's their own personal granary. So I guess they're the ones that get to call the shots somehow. They're the ones that go in there and vote on themselves, basically. So we kind of got screwed on drying, because we were going to go ahead and cut it and dry it in there and then haul it to Tyson. But with that conflict, I got up with Tyson. They're going to take it, but they don't want it for like another week and a half, 2 weeks, which that would be all right anyway, because by that time it'll be dried down really good. And if I decide to cut early, Purdue would take it. So Mount Air, I'm sure they'll take it too. They took it last year. So anyway, that's the video. See ya.
It's over. What is this? What's happening?
Oh, no.
I gotta say, I could have called this one.
No.
Yeah.
Is it our fault? Is it because we were bad? Whose fault is it? Oh, fuck, I want to fucking know.
Let's cut this shit. It is directly your fault.
Of course it's their fault. They're the 2 biggest dickheads in the world, and they're living in your house.
Please don't cry like that. Please don't, Brennan.
I'm going to throw up. I think I'm going to throw
Don't
up.
throw up.
I'm going to throw it up.
Come on.
Cause you know how Thursday, If you feel